What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phantasm Star. Today, we are going to be talking about the latest chapters that my good friend Biss has recently read on Berserk. With me today,
Hello. Hello. Good evening. This beautiful podcast. I've read. I began reading Berserk, and I have to say, it's one of the most dark fantasy series I've ever read.
yes, I have to say, I'm so proud of you for this because honestly, I've been egging you on for months, since the creator of Berserk's death about reading it because I know you're a huge manga boy, and I know that
Uh,
well,
I'm half half. I'm also a big web novel light novel reader.
yeah, that's true. I mean, at the same point, I know that you would rather prefer some series in manga form over anime. Like I know that you prefer the One Piece manga over the anime any day of the
Yeah.
week. Which
Absolutely. Manga is just easier to read for me. It's like for anime, you have to like put the headset, or I need to be in a mood to actually watch it. While with manga, it's just like I'm in the train, read it. I'm in on school, just read one chapter. It's just fast. It's faster. It's more. How do you say it? It's more. Um, you it's just better actually. It's just sort of simple. It's way simple to read, to consume actually, than watching anime.
yeah, especially when you're watching subs. Trust me, I took a while off from watching anime only to react to it. I gotta say, when you have to react to an anime and you know you gotta read the subtitles, it's hard. Not gonna lie, it's hard to
Yeah, I can
concentrate.
I
So
can see that. It's yeah. I mean, I don't really have the problem. For me, I also had a burnout on anime, but that was mostly because I was watching basically every show in the season, like back in 2019, which I couldn't do anymore. So I basically got a burnout, and I'm
yeah,
only watching the minimum shows. So I'm reading more.
yeah, and I know that this actually gave you an opportunity since that you got into that accent and you decided to read more
Yeah,
manga during
and
your recovery time.
yeah, and actually got to read One Piece thanks to this burnout, which
Yes. But we're not talking about One Piece. We are talking about Berserk. I'm so happy you read this. This is we'll talk about what your thoughts are, but in my opinion, I think Berserk is one of the best written pieces of literature in manga form. I know that a lot of people will be like, and I'm not doubting that One Piece when One Piece exists, when a lot of other really big series exist, like Vinland Saga, which is also another one of my favorites. But Berserk, in my opinion, is my second favorite series next to another series, which we'll talk about in the future one day. Um, but in terms of mangas, I think it is one of the best written mangas out there.
I can see it actually. Like so far, it's like to be honest, Berserk has the same problem as One Piece. Like at the beginning of the series, the drawing is really like how do you say it? It's really sketchy, and like it looks strange compared to the chapters where I am now in Berserk are really well done. Like there are some really beautiful panels in the manga, which like for example, when that one time
Actually,
in
hold.
Golden.
I was gonna say we'll talk about the chap. Let's talk about the chapters later.
Mm,
We'll go by where each chapter and your thoughts.
mm.
But before we go on about that, I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about, I know that you've did you know about? I know you know about Berserk. It's really well known in the anime community.
Yeah,
You
I've known it for quite a while.
you known it from me and you want to read it to the memes or even really famous you know the Griffith did nothing wrong thing.
Yeah, a lot of memes about Berserk, and it's kind of it's like I'm starting to understand, like it's a meme, the whole thing with Griff did nothing, but like reading. You know what? Let's talk about this later when we're gonna
Yeah,
finish.
we'll talk about the characters after we talk about the chapter. Actually, we'll do side by side. This is kind of a rough thing because we've never done this before, but yeah, but like before going in, like what were you expecting?
Well, first of all, when I started reading, I first started with the one shot chapter, which was before volume or chapter 0, which really threw me off. And when I started the series, or even before I started the actual manga, I was like, okay, Gus kind of looks weird because like in the one shot it looks really different from the main series. So that's that. But like um before I started reading Berserk, I was expecting dark. I was expecting like really really fucked up shit.
Yeah,
Like even at the beginning of the series, which there was some, but like not like there are some panels I saw from the manga in the future chapters, which I think those are more horrifying. For example, the horse, but
yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah,
still need to get to it. And like I was expecting like already from in the Golden Era arc where like they have those scary things, but like so far it didn't happen. So that was one exception, one expectation I actually like you know that I don't have anymore. I mean, I had, but like it's like I don't know. I expected. What did I expect? I expected more scariness from the first from the Golden Era arc.
yeah.
Actually,
Like to be honest, what I think that Berserk really does well in terms of other fantasy animes, like even isekai, which like even like you look at a lot. I feel like that a lot of people that look at Face Forward of this series, like without even reading it, they would assume that's like an edgy series for people that like edgy material, which is like not too far from the truth, but it's not. It's
yep.
honest. It's honest about the world that they live in.
It's like the thing with the whole thing about being edgy. Like the fair, I don't think like calling an a series edgy. Like I don't like the word per se because like normally when you call something edgy, most of the time people mean it in a negative way. But like for me, Berserk is edgy, but like in a really good way. Like
Yeah,
like Berserk. I can't really compare it to other fantasy shows because like Berserk is really different from other fantasy shows. It's like the one I can compare it to most is Goblin Slayer, but even then, Berserk is far more darker than Goblin Slayer. But even
yeah,
not even not like the whole scary. It's more like the vibes Berserk gives is you read it. I mean, you read what all the characters say, what they how they lived in their past, how the fucked up shit they had to do, or even
yeah,
how women are treated there in their world, and like you started to realize like this is like really really different from other fantasy shows I watched, I read, and like for example, after I was done with after I read Berserk, in the Golden Era arc, I read another fantasy manga or light novel, and when was reading it, I was like, when I tried to think of the character's design, I instead of their own design, I was imagining them, but like in the Berserk design. So like basically Berserk has such a big impact on me from the Golden Era arc. Like it's like it's so dark. It's so like it has such a dark vibe,
yeah,
Berserk, that like it actually affects what how I think about other fantasy shows. So like you could say, once you watch Berserk, you will think differently about other fantasy shows.
yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned that. Like a lot of, if it wasn't for again, I we talked about this a long time ago, but if it wasn't for Berserk, a lot of shit that inspired or like certain characters and certain weapons that
Dark
are
Souls.
like yeah, Dark Souls, Cloud's Buster Blade or Buster Sword. is
Game of Thrones, I guess.
Game. Well, I don't know if Game of Thrones, but
I mean, more on the dark, the more like more the dark side of
like I was going to even say like Black Clover, like the
Fantastic Four.
creator like takes a lot of inspiration specifically from like Berserk because they're a huge fan of it. So like I don't know, people might like if you were looking at especially the first chapter. If you only read the first chapter, you would say like it's only for edgy people, but
I wouldn't say that, but like I think a lot of people will say it.
yeah, a lot of people would say that if they only read like the first chapter. But if you kept going through, you would understand that it's more than like Berserk is literally more than just like some guy with a giant sword. It's a
Yeah,
but anyway, I guess let's start going into the chapters. Now,
the first arc.
yeah, I guess like chapters arcs like they're both
Uh,
because they're just so like
I mean,
big.
no, it's not like One Piece where like you clearly like have it clearly like states which arc, and you kind of you have a lot of people say, okay, this is this arc. Uh, like for Berserk, the first arc, which is the arc where you get introduced to the gods, like him already having his big black sword, and like what's it? I don't know, the first arc, no, not the second arc, because like the second arc is when you get the plot twist that you see Griffith as a demon, and I'm like, okay.
I was gonna say let's wait until like the second chapter to talk about that because I want to really or yeah, but going into the first chapter, like I said, like the first little chapter is Guts having sex with a demon. I'm like I was like,
Oh
what?
yeah. Oh, I think I remember him. I mean, I don't know. I think it was just whatever. 'Cause maybe because I've read so many shits.
Yeah,
No, but like, well, that really. I mean, I
it
can
catches you
understand
off
it.
guard. Yeah, it was catching it
Yeah.
caught you off guard because a lot of people when they because even in like the '97 version, the anime did not show that scene, which is understandable. Um,
Mm.
but like they showed like another scene that also happened at the end of the series, which is very famous. Um, but yeah, like you talk about like I guess like in terms of all the arcs, I mean there are some good points of the first chapter, but like I would say it's probably the weakest because again the Kentaro was still probably developing his like not only his art style but his like writing because like there's not a lot of depth in terms of the first chapter. Like you have Guts, and he's just going after like this Baron who turns out to be like a demon, right?
Yeah.
And like we're all wondering why is he after this guy? Like if you don't know what's going on, you would just assume that like he's just going after this guy because he's a monster, not like anything else specifically.
You mean about guts?
Yeah, like Guts just hunting down this one Baron that like turns into like this giant cobra demon thing.
I mean, from when I read it, like I like when I saw that Guts was going after this demon, I was like, okay, it seems like Guts is a demon hunter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was more in my mind because like I know, I'm not saying I got spoiled, but like I know from different panels that like eventually Guts does things. Still know the context, but like I thought he was a demon hunter, something like that. After what happened to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like they're talking about like especially when like you introduce yourself to like Puck and who's basically like the comedic side of this, like the lighter part of the series, which is like that's
Mm.
the only in my opinion the most memorable part because like I said, if you look at the first chapter, it's basically Guts hunting down this snake demon.
It's a
And
demon, basically.
yeah, and there's no depth to him. All he does is like he decides to attack the city that they've been like
Yeah. No, no. It was more of the likes of. there's this mayor, and this mayor has to abide. He has to follow the rules of this demon, because otherwise this demon will send this army towards the mayor's city. And Guts, this first chapter was actually meant to just introduce Guts as a badass, basically. So
Yeah,
basically, he's there. You ask yourself like, okay, what's this character Guts doing here? And at the end of the chapter, you have to think like, okay, Guts is Guts, from what I know, is a demon hunter. Okay, so I like about Berserk. I like the fact that they already from the start, introduce like, okay, so Guts is a sort of demon hunter. He hunts demons. You have to remember this in the future. I like that. It already sets the premise of like
yeah.
this will happen maybe.
I remember you showing me the panel where he like cuts that one dude in half in the first couple chapters, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's carrying a big ass sword, and no, and like a lot of people like complain, being like, why is like this guy like having a giant sword, and like it's so generic. I'm like, have you
Why
not
do people
seen?
complain? Why do people complain about that? Like, that's fucking badass, man. Like, just having a guy going around with a big ass sword and just slashing people in two, like, that's fucking badass, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, like in terms of like the actual chapter, him like defeating the snake baron was really awesome. Like him again, there wasn't a lot of depth to it, but it did establish Guts as like a really like a dude that's on a mission. He is very dedicated to it. Like this man takes a beating from him and yet still stands up and like swings like his sword, cutting him in half. And like the fact that like were you surprised about like his arm cannon when he
Yeah, I didn't know about that. So I was like, oh, okay. So somehow he got his arm cut off. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
We'll see in the future how that will go. Let's go
Again,
to the second arc. Wait, actually.
yeah. I guess like we can't talk again. There wasn't a lot of depth in the first one. It just established Guts and it introduced Puck to us.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So the second one, and this is actually a really, in my opinion, a really good arc because this is when like Kentaro Miura really started establishing his writing style, and I'm like, like the one scene that we'll talk about at the very end. Um, is probably one of my favorite. Well, I would say one of my top 10 favorite moments in Berserk, and it's not like something badass.
Okay.
But I guess your thoughts first.
For the second arc, right?
Yeah, so I think that's like the I don't even know what it's called. Like again,
The second
they
the second
go.
arc is basically where the there's a mini arc between the first and second arc, which is basically Guts, trying, you see Guts traveling with Buck, and you see this, caravan, going, traveling with a father and a daughter. They basically, Guts rejects, this guy, this father, asks, Guts if he wants to, go on the ride. Like, Guts refuses, but he still, persists. So God accepts it, and basically, while they're traveling, they're going through a forest where, a lot of that, people were, and then, those undead, arise and come to attack them. The daughter gets impaled, while gets, basically said, remain in the caravan. The father then, dies because of the daughter, because the daughter became an undead. God sent how to kill her. He also had to kill everyone there. So basically, like, so this mini arc was basically, do what God says, otherwise you will die.
Yeah, like that's the thing about Guts as a human is that like he knows that the journey he's on is very dangerous. Like he knows that like if he brings people along, he will potentially like they will potentially either get killed. And that is like a prime example because like the daughter, obviously like this is why I love Berserk is that it doesn't hold back in terms of like nobody's safe. Like the daughter like just gets like killed out of nowhere. And we don't expect that. because again, people would think that like, oh, they're children, they can't get hurt. I'm like, nope, everybody's Kentaro Miura. Death is E, grade E for everyone.
That's true. Normally in a fantasy show, if that happened to a character, or she would get healed, or something else would happen that basically she wouldn't die. Well, in Berserk was like, you know what? Let's kill her. I think that's a good idea. And also like the whole ghost trying to get guts and drag him to the earth, but like there's like while reading that arc, mini arc, I felt like there was something that that happened to guts that like basically was like that tried to ground him and try to get back to him for all the killings he did.
Yeah,
So that was interesting.
like the fact that like he says it himself that like he can't sleep because otherwise he'll let his guard down. Which when he like has that nightmare and he's getting attacked by, I'm not gonna say he's a demon, but he's like those like little sucker things
Yeah.
that gave him that like really fucked up nightmare. Which again we're not gonna talk about until like later on, but the fact that he can't sleep and he can't be like super close to people shows how you know what type of danger he's constantly in, and that like bringing people along can result in
There,
death.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like the fact that those guys got killed is like, oh, like he warned them, and I wouldn't call him stupid, but like you know again you can't show weakness in this series.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Going to the arc, the second arc, which felt the start of because like basically the second arc was basically at the end of the second arc was basically okay. You got introduced to guts. You had some characters appear at the end. Okay, so now we're going back to his background. We're going to explain his story, how he grew up, and
Oh,
and, and like
wasn't that supposed to be the no, the second one was the Baron one with like he was like that giant slug creature.
yeah, but so what I said, like at the end of the second arc
Oh yeah.
where Griffith appeared, but a demon, like where all those really
Ac-
those demons appeared.
Actually, before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit more about this arc because
Okay.
I want to hear your thoughts on I guess like the beginning was like very, again, same thing as the first arc. It was establishing more of like how, like I really liked um actually, that was the one thing that we forgot to mention was that I always loved that line where like uh Guts, what was that? He died doing what he loved. Like he
Oh
must
yeah, yeah. When that one guy died, because he was a doctor at the castle of the mayor,
yeah.
and basically like he helped Guts. He escaped. He was tortured by the mayor because something happened to the mayor. The mayor basically, his wife got killed by some bandits, and to get revenge, he basically accepted a demon invitation, and basically he then got real cruel and killed all the bandits and
Yeah.
continued to be, you know,
He continued to be like this monster that
uh,
was what, like originally he wasn't a monster. He was a nice decent guy.
even but it was still really cold towards other people.
Like I guess like this is the first establishment of like this was the first arc where the establishment of like the actual name, like the apostles, and
Yeah, yeah,
like it gave a little bit more depth in terms of like more of their motivation of like why there's like these people that like exist in this world, that like
they
what.
also
Hmm?
yeah no they also introduced the Behelit, the
The
amulet.
the Bailet, yeah.
Behelit, yeah.
Which before we talk about that, like I guess like before we we'll make this one really quick, but like what did you think about like the reveal about the the fodder? Like this I keep calling him barons, but like Lord or
Lord.
whatever.
the mayor of the
Yeah,
city.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
Um,
reveal about like why he ended up making a contract.
I mean, I kind of understand why he did it because, like, naturally, when you return and you see, like, how was it, like those followers of the demon god basically built a statue in your own castle, and like all the women and your wife, were, let's say, they were doing things.
Yeah, like
And
I,
I can feel like, his anger, and basically, killing everyone naturally, that's
yeah,
it's like, why did this happen, and like this at the anger, and although, uh you
it
know
it really is.
it's understandable. It's regrettable that he made the decision to, accept it, but, like, it's like kind of validated. It's like, I
Yeah,
understand.
like I think that this is why like it is a very important arc, which not only establishes like the reasoning behind like a lot of the apostles. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the apostles that um again when you keep reading, uh you'll learn a little bit more. Like some of them are very justifiable in terms of the reason why they became apostles, but at the same point, like there are some that aren't as like forgiving as this guy. Like, don't get me wrong, he's done some really bad shit. Like he deserved what he got. But at the same point, like it doesn't come from like it comes from like almost manipulation, because this is the chapter where we get introduced to, because like at the same point like he killed his wife, but it wasn't out of like spite or whatever. He actually loved his wife, but his wife, you know, did some stuff.
His wife basically, kind of got intoxicated by the whole mentality of, so basically wanted to, to kill the followers, but the wife got into it because she kind of was intoxicated, I guess, because she was
Yeah, yeah,
under their control.
she was
So,
also manipulated too. So
yeah, so, he had to do it to eliminate those guys. It's like, it's regrettable,
yeah,
but, like, yeah, it's
but
sad.
it gets really into like a little bit more depth when the God Hand is introduced, because
Oh,
at the same point of almost the end of the chapter, like Guts is fighting the bear. I keep calling it the mayor, and when he's finally defeated, like I guess like his daughter was like the only thing that held on to his humanity at the same point, because she was she was basically like an anchor while this guy was like somehow like this guy was crazy. And I will say, like, when what did you think about when the God Hand was revealed?
I was shocked. I was shocked mainly because I was shocked that they introduced Griffith, or they spoiled Griffith becoming a demon this earlier. I was like, you see those guys, and then I see the armor of Griffith, and I'm like, wait, isn't that Griffith? And I'm like, wait. Did they actually, like, when the people were actually reading this at the beginning, did you actually, like, get spoiled that, like, a character that gets introduced in the future is, like, why, like, can you explain to me why they actually did it? Like, they made, like, Miura made the decision to actually, like, um show Griffith as a demon already.
I guess like it was a good way to transition to like why Guts is like constantly. I think that at the same point it was like it was constantly under why Guts was constantly trying to like establish like his character's motivation. Be like if it was just like a character that was just hunting down demons, that there wouldn't be a lot of depth to the series. But like the fact that I think it gave a lot more mystery to the series, which was to like the series as a whole. Like I guess the main question is like why is like Guts hunting down this guy called Griffith, who are the God Hand? You know, what establishment do they have in the series in Berserk? Um, but back to what I was saying, which is like I honestly think the God Hand is one of the best, like evil. I'm going to call them evil organizations in anime, and until like you know why, I guess like at a point, like going back to what I was saying, is that like I guess what I love about the God Hand is that they're so evil, but they're so interesting. Like they love manipulating people.
Mm. Yeah, it's like after reading the Golden Era arc and knowing the good relationship between Griffith and Guts, and going back to reading, the second arc of Berserk, I was like, this is sad, man. They were once friends, and I'm like, shit, man. What happened? I still need to read the Eclipse arc, but like, what happened for them to become like this?
Yeah, and that was honestly the perfect way to set up the Golden Age arc, kind of like Guts' backstory.
Like,
But before that, let's finish off this arc. I
this arc is basically
well,
Guts against the mayor, plus the background, and plus the introduction of the god hands.
but this is like the but this is the scene that I absolutely like. This is my top 10 favorite moments in Berserk, and that was like so after you know the Baron loses. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but after he loses and he disappears and he gets killed, um Guts ends up saving his child from like falling down that giant hole or whatever, and she is not happy that what happened to her dad. And like when she talks about like when she grows up she's going to find him and like kill him, and like she's giving him all this cursed stuff, and like Guts is basically like saying like all this shit being like fucking try. And like when Guts is leaving and like Puck's like looking at him, I forget what Puck says, but when he's looking at him he has like this sad expression on his face.
I mean, Puck can read emotions, so maybe that's why he said.
Well, he's not just sad because like he didn't get his revenge, but he's sad because like you know he doesn't want that in life. Like he puts up this like front of like I think Guts, in my opinion, is one of the best written characters of all time. Like hit,
And I still need to arrive to the point where because like so far, Guts is a really good character, but I won't say it's the best written. So I still need to arrive at the point
yeah,
what
yeah.
you're talking about.
But at the point, like it really gave a lot of like different opinions about Guts, because like a lot of people would just think like, oh, it's a giant guy with no emotions swinging a big ass sword. But no, it's a guy who's putting up a front because he doesn't want people to know that he's actually like really sad. And it's like I think like again, the Golden Age arc really puts a lot of perspective. I think the Golden Age arc is one of the best written stories or arcs in anime. Not even kidding. And there's a lot of really great arcs.
Well, before I continue, the part in the Golden Arc where like when they are going to rescue Griffith, is that close to the end?
Yeah, like you have a couple more chapters. Like you got like maybe about like yeah, you're relatively close, but you still
So
got a while to go.
you know the Golden Age arc is really good, but I
Yes,
wouldn't say it's the best, one of the best written.
you have to finish it off in order
Okay,
to
I have to finish. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, let's get into the Golden Age. That's the one I really want to talk about. So I guess let's talk about like the first thing, and let's talk about like Guts growing up. Like that was
It
something.
guts a real. It's like this is why like the Golden Age arc, uh, is the part is the beginning of Berserk where like I'm like, okay, I get really dark vibes from Berserk. It's like you see Guts gets there's this woman with some mercenaries who pass along this tree where a lot of dead bodies are, and from what I remember, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but like there's uh like his mom, the mom of gods, basically was hung on the tree, and he basically was on the blood. Like that was so fucked up. The first chapter of when you see when you see gods as a baby, that was so fucked up, man.
Yeah, like the fact that like they find a baby with like underneath like all these hanging bodies, and like um the fact that like Gambino, we'll talk about Gambino because like the fact that
Gamina Gamina is I don't like him. Gabina is like,
oh,
it's
he's
not
a
like
piece of shit. He's a
he's not
piece
a
of
bad
shit.
character. I just dislike him.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to like him. Like the fact that he does what he did to Guts is like so fucked up. Like especially with that one mercenary. Oh my god. Like I said, this series does not shy away from the actual like truth of like this was
Yeah.
actually of almost not too realistic from like actual medieval times. Like there were like this like, but that being said, yeah, Gambino was a piece of shit, but he was the only thing that Guts had to like
Mm,
an actual fodder figure. I don't
mm,
know. But like again, there's a lot of piece of shit characters in this series, but um that you will not like, but you can't help but be fascinated by them. But again, there's not a lot of depth to Gambino. I mean, like it's understandable why he feels that way because he thinks that Guts was a cursed child that killed his wife.
was his what was the woman his wife? Was the woman there at the beginning his wife?
Uh, I think so. Like, I think they established that like he was his woman or something, and like I guess they decide like she decided. I don't know. I think she might have been like not all right in the head, in my opinion, because it felt like that. Um, but yeah, well, who knows? But she, the fact that like he blamed Guts for like her death, calling him like a cursed child, and still like he won approval from Gambino all of his life, like when he was a young kid.
Mm, yeah.
But
Gambino is
he's not. Don't worry, he's not a good character. But I guess let's get right into like the main part. Let's talk about like the I'm gonna say the official beginning of the Golden Age arc, like when they introduce the Band of the Hawk.
Band of the Hawk.
I
Man,
love the Band of the Hawk.
also the introduction of Casca. Oh my god, what a like a ride with Guts and Casca. Like, oh my
Dude,
god.
I love Casca. I think she is
I don't it's like I think Casca's a good character. Just I don't really care about her. I care mainly about Guts. Guts is the main thing I like about Berserk. Griffith I also really like um before the clips. um but no, this will be in the when we talk about the future chapters. We will talk about this, but like Casca, like she's a bitch at the beginning of
yeah,
when they introduced Hawk.
yeah, but I think that like that's understandable because she spends most of the series, most of the Golden Age, is basically like calling Guts like on his shit all the time. Like, why does Griffith respect you, but like all you do is just do stupid stuff all the time? Which is like for Guts, it's understandable. Like he like this is dude. There's so many great scenes in this arc. We'll talk about. I want to talk about each one of them, but like in terms of Casca hanging on Guts, it's understandable because like well, Guts is a brash person. He thinks more with his sword than with his head. Like I think that the only time he ever actually fought with his head was when he was going up against the 100 Men.
Yeah, yeah. It's like also in this arc you slowly get introduced to more to like Guts, and Guts gets to know more demons. Same with Griffith. Like I like the way like they started to show more demons, like
Yeah, but
souls.
let's not talk about the demons. I want to. We'll talk about that after. We have to talk about your thoughts on Griffith. Like, I want to hear what
Do,
your
do do I say everything about the arc, like Griffith, like just the beginning of the arc,
no. Just
Griffith,
talk
or
about like everything that like just
okay.
establish what you talked about or what you your overall thoughts on Griffith are.
Griffith is an interesting character.
He
He
really is.
and you know is the way his character went towards the end of the arc also. Like I totally understand him. Like you know, if a friend of your leaves you, if you fully trusted your friend and this friend leaves you because they think they are not in the right place, because like there, there are some friends which like if they are near you they really support you just by being there, and that was guts for Griffith.
But
And I feel like like people people saying the whole meme of like Griffith did nothing wrong. Like if this is if guts
but
leaving Griffith was the catalyst for for the whole eclipse, I totally understand Griffith. Like
but
Griffith is such a flawed character, but like also like
no, but like
he's a
that's
human.
that's a fucking best thing about Griffith and Guts's like dynamic is
Yeah,
like
yeah, but
the fact that like Griffith you like you see, you like you look at both of them, right? Like both of them are like two sides of the same coin. But what the thing is that like Griffith is portrayed in white. Like his hair is white, his clothes are white, like everything about him like is basically like uh white,
yeah,
which is supposed to represent like good, while Guts is a character who has established himself in like black. Like his sword's black, his hair's black, everything about him is like just red. But what makes them such great characters is that Griffith is more of a cunning, you know, evil doer, and while Guts is more of the sympathetic character during, during the going ons during this arc. Like his like the fact that like Griffith is manipulating Guts at the same point by asking him to do like all sorts of like shit to establish his point for like in the kingdom of Midland was like the assassination thing.
yeah.
This really shows like plus um a lot of other great scenes like burning like the queen's death and all that was actually really well done.
It because Griffith trusts God so much, Griffith Griffith gave this order to Guts because like he trusts him. This the relationship between Guts and Griffith is was so strong that like Griffith knew he could trust Guts with a mission to to kill the what was the other guy called? Oh, the prime minister.
Uh, sorry, who?
So when Griffith was trying to to get the power to become the general,
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
another guy who didn't want
Yeah,
Griffith
yeah,
to
yeah. That's
become.
that's the guy who assassinates. I think it's like her,
Yeah,
like the Midland's brother or something, like the
I
king's
I
brother.
I guess. And then what's sad is the I think the son of him or the young boy who was you saw him training with this general
Yeah,
also died because of Gus because like he saw Gus killing him, so he couldn't like let him go. So no, so before he actually knew who the kid was, Gus just kills the person, and after piercing him and killing him, he actually like, oh shit, I fucked up. The the the
yeah.
the, the so like I felt really I felt I understand why Gus did it, but like it's like oh shit man, this is sad. Why do this to me? Like
That's because like at the same point, like regardless, Griffith wanted to establish his place in the hierarchy because again his whole purpose in life was his dream of achieving his own castle, which is like pretty bare, like pretty broad, but honestly. Like, his motivations make sense in terms of where he wants to get to, and if he has to like kill people on the way, he's not afraid to do so.
Mm-mm.
But he's just not. But like I said, he's not going to be the one to do it. He's going to get people like Guts or Casca to do it.
I mean, I think honestly, it would give it to Guts. I don't think Griffith trusts Casca to do something like killing in secret.
Yeah,
Because like Griffith trusts Casca, but not as much as Guts. Also, I think that's why Casca at the beginning disliked, or even still dislikes Guts a bit, because like she loves Griffith,
yeah, which is understandable
but
because of
Griffith, yeah, but because yeah, like you're saying, like because of the whole background of how Casca actually entered the
the
Hawk
Band of
Guild,
Hawk. Yeah,
yeah, and like because Griffith really trusted Guts, Casca became angry at Guts for that.
yeah,
Um,
and like she establishes why at the very like when they're together, while after that major battle, the one
yeah,
where she fights like General Boss Stone, the which is such a mean character.
true. Or
Um,
even like, or even like what the what's it before? Well, was it after Guts left that they had smashed?
yeah, but we're getting ahead of that. But let's
Yeah,
I guess let's establish the or like I guess like the next thing is like what did you think of the other members of the band Hawk?
I think at the beginning they disliked Guts because like they killed one of them of theirs.
Yeah, they killed like he killed like a lot of them. Like it
No, just one.
uh yeah, not
When Guts, no, at the beginning, like when they actually saw him, they were trying to attack him, but Guts killed one of the Banda Hawk,
yeah, one of their major ones. But anyway, I want to hear about like who was your favorite member of
the big guy,
the big guy?
the
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
loved it. I
I love
love
him. I love him. Where there was one scene where like they were eating in the night in the castle, and the big guy and like Guts was sitting on the castle edge, and this big guy came over him, picked him up, put him on his shoulder, and basically brought him to all the other guys,
yeah.
and he
I
got away
love
too.
I was gonna say I love all the characters of actually to be fair, there's only one I don't like, but everybody else is really well established. Like
Yeah,
Judo, I love Judo. I love
yeah.
Pippin. Pippin, oh my god! Wait until you. Oh no spoilers, no
Okay,
spoilers.
okay, okay.
Um,
I will say that. I will read that.
but yeah, like let's. I guess like before we talk about the ending of where you are, I guess I just want to establish like some scenes I really loved.
Oh yeah, a scene I really liked when they were fighting the big battle against the one of the major guys against Kingdom. Like the it was the fight. How was it called again? The fight where like they basically it was against a guy who
Yeah,
smashed with
the
Griffith.
oh yeah, that guy. But
Yeah,
oh, dude, ah how did I forget about this Zod? How did I forget about talking about Zod?
Zod.
Zod,
Was that
dude,
a demon?
yeah,
Wait, was that the demon guy, the mercenary? Oh yeah, him.
dude, it's literally the only fight in Berserk where Guts almost like actually died. Like
Yeah, at the beginning when Griffith and Guts tried to fight him.
yeah, and like uh I guess before the end of like at the end of the fight, like when Zod, dude, that fight I love Zod. I think he's a really fantastic character. But like, again, early, but like, what did you think of Zod?
I like that he threw his sword towards Guts to help him kill the other guy.
Oh yeah, that was
Uh,
great. That was great.
like his sword broken, like oh shit. Immediately, the sword flies towards him, arrives arrives on the ground, and Guts be like, "What? What happened?"
Dude, there's so much mysteries behind Zod. I love it.
Yeah, I like that. He's at the beginning when he got to introduce us this mercenary demon. I was like, okay, he will probably get killed.
Yeah, like the
It
immortal
did not. It
Zod.
did not happen. It did not happen.
Yeah,
He actually became a returning character, which I really liked.
yeah. The fact that at the end of the fight is only because like he reveals about like Griffith's Bailet. Like, dude, at that moment I was like, dude, there's red flags all over this like situation right now.
Yeah,
When he says like if you respect yourself, if you respect this man, you will be like, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but like you will be like you'll end up dead or whatever he said.
yeah. I mean, guts is guts, so you know. Oh, wait, didn't the what's it called? Zora? No, Zoa? Zot?
Zod,
I forgot. Yeah, Zod. When he saw Griffiths in his amulet, the bee elite, what
Bailet,
you call
yeah,
it?
Bailet.
He like was oh shit. Well, that does say something. Let's go away. And like he basically jumped away like through the ground.
Yeah, like I think that again establish more mystery of
Yeah,
the world of Berserk being like why like again nobody knew about like apostles up until now, right? So we knew about apostles. We knew exactly where this was going, but for the characters they didn't know about this stuff. So the fact that like when they saw like Griffith introduced like his Bailet, everybody was like, "Oh, cool Bailet." And then like even despite the fact that they saw like opening up, I'm like, "Oh, cool Bailet." It's creepy
cool and
but cool.
scary. Cool and scary.
Yeah, like nobody thought about it. Nobody you know was like questioning it. They were just like, "Cool Bailet." But when Zod was like saying that if you know following this man will lead to your death, I was like, dude, we all know where this is going, but like these guys were like not even questioning it because they have such blind loyalty to Griffith. Like they are all inspired by him. They won't just up and abandon him,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
Uh,
established at the end. But I guess like I guess the last two scenes I want to talk about before we talk about the ending was like I love the 100-man fight. I think
I
that
loved
was
it. I loved it. It's like one of those moments where like Guts is one of the best characters. He is the best character in Berserk, but like he is, a really good character just in general. Just in general with manga and anime, like just him going, ham against all those soldiers. Like I loved it, man. Like the I like Guts. Guts is a badass character. I like him.
yeah, he's great. But I guess like my favorite part of the series that I've always loved was, and this is like if you ever get a chance, I'd highly recommend watching the '97 version. Because there's some scenes like in the '97 like version that hits so hard.
It's going to be difficult. That's going to be a difficult one to watch the anime because I don't like watching older anime. I mean, it's not like I don't like him, but like I don't. It's just one thing. I already don't watch anime a lot. I don't watch a lot of anime.
I would recommend it only because like some of the scenes like really slap. Like
Mm.
especially the OST. Oh my god! If you ever get a chance, listen to Guts's theme. It's so fucking good.
Well, I will.
And Forces. Definitely listen to Forces.
Okay.
But but yeah, like my favorite scene in the Golden Age arc is definitely the bonfire scene. You know the one where like Guts is up alone on the hill and Casca's there and he explains his whole mentality. Like he feels like he'll always be alone. I love that scene.
Was that after Guts left?
No,
No.
after he fights the 100 men.
Uh, oh, that's when they were in the camp, right?
Yeah. So they just
Okay.
did the 100 men, uh, and like Guts is all by himself up on that hill, and Casca comes up and says to him, like, is talking about like you didn't have to like sacrifice yourself for me, and he was like,
Mm,
it kind of gave like his rationality behind like how he feels about all this. Like to him, he'll always be the outsider.
yeah, that's why he left.
Yeah, and well, it's also Griffith's speech too, which also was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Griffith. I mean, the whole thing that the when Gus just heard, the reason why he left is more like he heard what Griffith said, but
Hmm.
also because he feels like he's just, like you said, an outsider. He's
Yeah,
just there
like he's
to be a
step
sort. He doesn't have any reason. He was going to travel to find a reason.
like he believed that
Uh,
even if they won the war, he would still probably just go and find like another one because that's all he feels like he was
yeah.
his whole purpose in life, which is understandable because we all have that like feeling of like being lost and the only thing that brings us joy is like something,
Yeah.
and for him it's like just constantly being in battles and
But hey, that's not just gods. There are a lot of other characters in other series which where like they only have war. So like it's not it's like the Berserk did it earlier. Did it first with the whole concept. I mean, maybe not, but like from what I've read, like it's one of the first. But like it's not like, I mean, I'm not far in the Berserk, so I can't really cite the whole thing of like I
but
don't really
isn't
know war.
wasn't it great when like even despite the fact that a lot of people were praising Guts for like you just killed 100 men. You're a legend to us, and like that's nothing to me. That was just like a walk in the park. Like that was like you get to understand more of his mentality, which is like he believes that his only purpose in life was for battle, and I fucking love. I just love that scene. It's a great scene, and like in the '97 version, it does it so. I'll send it to you later, but
Mm,
the English dub is actually really good, but
I'm not gonna watch English though. You got
it's
to watch
really
English.
good. It's really good. I promise you.
I'm only, you know what? I'm a sub guy. I don't watch sub. Even if it's really good. I don't like it, but be like that.
Um, but I guess let's talk about like the ending. So yeah,
After Guts left,
after Guts left, and that was a beautiful like scene, which is like Griffith and Guts facing off one another.
and they were really serious. Like their face, the panel where it showed their face being really serious. Like, damn. Oh no, the panel where the really famous panel of Berserk, where basically you have this tree, the sun, going down or rising, and you have Griffith and Guts on the same panel facing each other. That was such a really good panel. It was so amazing.
Yeah, this is like when Kentaro Miura was really establishing like his art style. Because that scene where they're on like that hill was beautiful.
That was really beautiful. And then after Guts left, the whole thing happened.
What did you
Maybe
think
because
about that? What did you think about that?
I mean,
Especially
what?
with like the king.
I think honestly, the king is fucking. Sorry.
That's okay. Swear. Like honestly, he's fucked. He's
he
fucked.
he is so. It's just I. You can even say you hate him. He's so disgusting. He's such a disgusting character. Like at the beginning, when
You
he
don't like.
first.
You didn't expect it. You did not
Yeah,
expect it.
no, when he was angry towards Griffith for what he did, he was like, okay, maybe no, he doesn't want Griffith to do something to her daughter, maybe. But like after he imprisoned Griffith and he went towards his daughter, I was like, holy, holy shit,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
what are
Yeah,
you? It's like,
he
okay,
was not all right in the head, and honestly, again, that's what I love about Berserk is the fact that like, a lot of characters are really just straight up like they're not even apostles that are evil; they're humans that are just straight up evil.
I mean, not sure that's with the RV series, but like, just like it's more the reason why it shocked me. It was more of the likes of, I never expected that the king will be this disgusting. I've never imagined. I will never. If I before I read that part, if you said to me, "Oh yeah, do you know about the king? Like, what he did?" I didn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes in this that I could name off that would be like would turn anybody off from the series. But honestly, um, it's but again, that's the whole point. Is that like this is a fucked up world. Like
Yeah.
all these, like trust me, like um, a lot of people owe Griffith a lot of recognition for what he did. Like he ended a 100-year war against like this country that he also had like his own personal stakes against.
Mm-mm.
But he put that aside for this king. And I mean, to be fair, like Griffith was like also not right in the head at the point, which is
No,
understandable.
in fact, it was not. It was not right. He basically just it was all wet. He went towards the daughter, the princess, because he lost guts. He lost he didn't have this the support the support of guts there anymore. So after what he did.
I think it was also the fact that like for once in his life somebody actually opposed like his
Yeah,
orders,
yeah,
because
yeah.
he said you can leave this army when when you defeat me. And when he finally defeated Griffith in a way, he lost a lot of confidence in that, and he actually was like, "Damn, I just lost a piece of my property." Like I always love when Griffith always refers to Guts like, you know, not as a person, but almost like he treats him like an equal, but in reality, he treats him more like a piece of property.
And that's why in the second arc of Berserk
Mm.
you saw the symbol on
Dude,
guts on his neck.
yeah, but I guess like at the end, I think what did you think about when Guts returned to the band in the Hawk?
I like that he smashed Casca.
That was unexpected. That was unexpected.
I mean, the, when they were alone and this kind of unexpected. Casca there, kind of building the vibes up. Doesn't mind guts. He just doing on his own thing. Just he's advancing. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It's crazy that like it's like crazy. I don't know. Like I think that that was a great scene. A lot of people, like you say yourself, Costco was a bitch, but at the same point, like she makes it clear that she owes Griffith a lot. Like she owes
No,
like the fact that like she has a purpose in life, and Griffith gave him that purpose. And again, that's why like Griffith getting or that's why Griffith is like such an influential character, is the fact that like he himself like it was almost in the same situation as Casca.
yeah, yeah.
So that
Casca really grew. She really grew like as a character. Like she became a lot better.
yeah, and like she became more of a uh she became more than just like the character that curses out like the character just for being idiots, like Sakura from like Naruto. Like
I
um
still talk about her.
yeah. I can't even compare like Sakura, or I can't even compare Casca to Sakura, honestly. Like she's like I think that Casca is a really well written character. I really love, and again, you'll meet more as you go along, but I think at the point, I think
Yeah, I
she
mean,
is established as like
she's a
as
good
yeah,
character, but
she's definitely in my top three.
I wouldn't say my top three of favorite characters.
Again,
I mean,
you have to read more. You have to read more.
I guess that's the only way.
Okay, but I guess at the end of the
I didn't read. I after Griffith got tortured. You saw him on the ground and some demons coming from a hole and trying to pick his hand. Oh yeah, the Behelit amulet actually fell under in the sewers and got drafted away. The guy went away. You saw that in the panels in the manga when he was in the cell room.
Yeah. Wait. Did they establish how? I forget. Did they establish how Griffith got the bailet?
Let me think. I think if I'm not wrong, he bought it.
Well, he was given. Well, he was given it to him by like a gypsy woman, and she just basically said like, if you want to achieve your dreams, like I'm paraphrasing this, but like if you want to achieve your dreams, um, take this bailet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
but I think that I really love. But yeah, you ended off like I wouldn't say it was a good point, but it was like because we never really got to establish like the very end of the goal. You're just finishing up the Golden Age arc right now.
yeah. I'm like when Guts, Casca, and the big guy and the small guy. I'm calling them small guy and big guy because I don't know. I don't remember the names.
Um, from the Band of the Hawk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Judo's the knife guy, and Pippin's the large guy.
Yeah, yeah. So you saw them like going underground and then arriving at the castle and meeting a princess. And after that, I stopped because like no, I stopped at the panel where Griffiths, where the demons were coming towards Griffiths, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop here because I just can't handle. I just can't. I, everything was happening so fast. I was like, okay, I need a break. I'm gonna talk about this about what I saw because like you have to remember all the like from the moments so basically the second arc I read the second arc and the Golden Age arc in one day in one setting.
Yeah, and they're like,
So it was so much. There was so much about. I was like just okay. I need to take a break. Holy shit! So much happened.
okay, so I guess this is a good way to finish this off. But I guess like the final question is there anything else that we need to establish? Oh, I don't know if he was introduced yet. Skull Knight.
Skull Knight. Oh yeah. When Guts was away and he was walking there was this guy with this the skull guy on a
Yeah,
horse
he just shows up out of nowhere, and he's like,
and he says to Guts like everything happens. It's happening or something like that.
yeah, like dude, there's like so many red flags in this series. Like a lot
And
of dude. I love
yeah,
Skull Knight. Oh my god, he's so good.
I mean, I don't know. I still know him really well, but like, I'm like, okay, something. So maybe because Guts is leaving, that he because of him, Griffith's mental states change. So basically, because of Griffith's mental change, he's gonna become a demon. Because I saw that in the second arc. So, ooh, interesting. So maybe that's the Eclipse arc. Okay.
Yep. Well, again, not gonna spoil anything.
Yeah.
Um. But I'm gonna say like at the end of again, there's so many mysteries in this series. Like especially like establishing the whole world and how everything works is like so interesting to me. But I guess like I guess my first question is that what would be your absolute favorite scene?
My favorite scene. Um. Griffith against Guts, the panel and on the hill.
All
So
right,
basically, they're
that's a fair one. We never even got to talk about like Griffith's speech either, like his whole
yeah.
mentality.
I also like um the the, the the first one of the first panels in the first arc where he slices the first guy in two. I love that sub panel. I love that moment. I think that's a perfect introduction to Guts.
Yeah, no, I hold on.
So, yeah.
Honestly, like it is a beautiful series. Like you can definitely see like his arts, Kentaro's art style really being established
Yeah.
in like later arcs. like especially at the end of the Golden Age arc. And but I would say like what my second question is would be, what is your favorite arc so far?
The Golden Age arc, naturally.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a really well, really, really, oh
It's like two arcs which just introduce Guts and some other characters against an entire arc which basically starts the real story. So like naturally, I would think like the Golden Age arc is better.
yeah, like it's pretty much like not only Guts' backstory but Griffith's backstory.
Yeah, not only Griffith, but like if Casca, which I think maybe I don't know if it is, but I think she will also be featured in the future arcs.
Yep. I guess like what would be your I guess what would be like your favorite character so far?
Guts.
Yeah, that makes sense. Guts is really dude. Guts is such a great character. I can't wait for you to actually.
I don't. What do you expect? Like naturally, Guts is the best character. Like, it's like I, I I really like Guts. Like, I have to be honest. I really like Guts more than the other Black Swordsman.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kier, whatever that guy is from that
uh,
second rate like second rate show.
second right. So no. I mean, no offense. I mean, Guts is just honestly, for so far, I already a better character, but that's just me. Um,
Like it's honestly I don't know. I was never a big fan of that show, but like I was never a big fan of Sword Art Online. Um, but
yeah.
I don't know. Like I always, but you can definitely see, like I said, Berserk is such a
Yeah.
one.
I'm gonna read more this week, this upcoming week. Maybe I will finish the Golden Age arc and read the clips, and maybe and maybe we will cover that in the next week or
Yeah,
next time.
yeah, yeah. Like I'm down for honestly, like I said, if like I'm down to actually I don't know. I felt like that at the same point like we finished off a little bit too early because actually because like the ending of the Golden Age arc can literally be an episode, like an entire episode.
Okay. I'm gonna read and see how much I will go and and see like if I when I'm done with the Golden Age arc, I will DM you and say, yeah, okay, I want to cover this next week or this upcoming week. So
Well, yeah, like I would say that um yeah, we can figure it out. Like just see how far you get because you got a while before like actual before the actual Golden Age arc finishes.
yeah.
Um and yeah, I'm so happy you're reading this. Like
Mm.
it is so fucking good that you're like I mean, a lot of people I like if I ever said I would in my opinion believe that like Berserk is one of the best is like has established itself as one of the best mangas of all time next to like Vinland Saga, Kingdom, Vagabond, One
Oh
Piece.
yeah, the arc of the part where where God was with Gabino. It felt a lot like Vinland Saga with Thorfinn and Ashelat.
Yeah, like you see that dynamic of
Although Ashelat was a lot better than I have to say Ashelat. I mean, I don't want to compare Berserk with Vinland Saga because like I love Vinland Saga. I'm up to that with the manga, but like Ashelat is one of the best characters in anime.
oh, definitely, definitely. I'm not doubting that. But I don't know. I think in terms of like um no, I can't even compare it to. I think that they're both great. But I would still prefer Guts just because like I've read all of Berserk and I still have to read Vinland Saga. But like I feel like in terms of antagonist, I would say like Askeladd and um, Griffith are easily some of the best antagonists I've ever read. Next to like our characters like Doflamingo from One Piece.
Mm. Wait, do you like? Oh, you like Berserk more than One Piece?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like,
I will see. I will see about when I
o-
complete Berserk.
only because like, um, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm like to me they're both equals. I would say Berserk is not my number one. One Piece is my second, and then One Punch Man being my third favorite manga of all time.
Okay.
Because, dude, the art style itself, like, wait until later chapters, you'll be like, damn, like, no wonder it took like a long time just to release a chapter. But
Yeah,
honestly, after
I can see this. I can see this.
after what happened, it makes sense why it took so long. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there any last things you want to say before we end?
No, I mean, I'm having a fantastic, you know, reading. I love reading. Besides the boring ones, but honestly, I like Berserk. It's I think the introductions are really are done well. I like guts. You know,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, no, no, no.
Continue.
I'm
I
so
mean,
happy. I'm
continue.
so happy you're reading this.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks a lot for listening to this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. I know this did. And if you like this, please like, subscribe, comment. It really means a lot to us to help us support the channel. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Bye.